Hello, everyone.
Caleb, welcome back.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
A good minute.
I'm here.
Tim's gonna be fucking thrilled.
We do this for you, Tim.
Tim,
We love you.
Start paying us for it.
yeah. Nobody else has to pay for it. We need a fucking subscription fee because you're
Right.
the only one that pays attention and listens.
All right. So, this is November 1st, right before the election.
When do they do it? The 8th?
No, dude. The 3rd.
The 3rd?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking the 8th.
Did you get your early vote in?
Because of that song, the 8th of November.
Trace Atkins.
Yeah. It wasn't him?
I think so. No, or Big and Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
never mind us.
The election, though. Yeah, so Caleb voted.
Yeah, of course I voted.
He didn't know when it was.
Well, hey, you don't have to when you early vote.
This is true.
Never voted in my life.
Yeah, no, I had, I told people, people ask you you gonna vote? And I told some people no, I think it's immoral. Which I never get a good reaction when I say that.
No. This is I've never not voted.
I mean, that
until
means
this year.
that you hate America if you say that.
It's funny because I went to lunch with people at work with me, and they were all like, "Let's just swing by here and go early vote." And they all got out of the truck, and they're like, "Are you coming in?" I was like, "No, I'm not going in there. I'm not doing that."
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, someone did make a good point. Because, I do like Joe Jorgensen. They were like, Tennessee's going red anyways. Go vote for her. That way maybe, the third party might get what is it? What percentage do they need to get funding for the next cycle? I don't know. I think that's what I was told. I don't know. I didn't look into this, but I don't look into anything. Just repeat shit.
The random people come into your, your store and tell you.
But no, I heard the Libertarian Party, if they get a certain amount of the votes, then they'll be able to get funding for the next.
Who? What? I don't understand that.
Matter.
Funding from who?
I guess the government.
The government?
I don't know. I have no
It
fucking
won't matter.
clue.
Trump's gonna win.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
completely.
so.
It's all going to be completely rigged, just like it was last year, but not by Russians. By the U.S. government, they do every presidential election for the past 200 years.
I've been saying that it's weird because Biden and all that, it's so fucking far from the stuff I believe. Part of me is I want Trump to win, so it slows it down. But the other part is if Trump wins, then he can do the shit that Biden couldn't do because people that think like me would take up arms, but they're not going to. When Trump's take the vaccine, yes sir.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that, though. He's saying he's not.
Yeah, I don't know that specifically, but
That he's not going to make people take the vaccine?
Yeah.
Well, he said that he was.
No, I don't know. I heard him.
He's gone back and forth on it.
Right now, he's saying, herd immunity, it's not that bad. Just get it. You know what I mean? He's not.
Right now, he's trying to say, he's downplaying everything and saying coronavirus, I've got it under control, I'm handling it, things like this, because it's election time.
But that's not necessarily not true.
Everything that a presidential candidate says before election time is a lie. Everything.
Look, I agree with you.
Because
I think we all know that
whenever they get elected, they rarely do anything they fucking said.
Yeah, sure.
And if they do,
sure.
It's they kind of toss you a bone here of well, I did this one promise that I made. But
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I do, but I don't know. It's just Biden's obviously saying lockdowns, masks, everything, right? And Trump is it's not. Everybody knows the virus is not that dangerous. You know what I mean? It's. How do you go back on that? You can't go back on that now. And we all know that. This isn't something that's not hard for you to go find out. It's a 99 point something, survival rate. The cases are going up according to the media, but who knows if that's even true.
Trump says it's because they're doing more testing. And then they're well, no, that's actually not the reason. And then he just blows it off and everything's doing great, and it's
But
like
it doesn't
it's all
matter.
it's all a sham.
It
It's
really
all
is. I mean,
bullshit.
I do agree with you. I do, but when I don't know, it's hard not to get sucked into it a little bit because obviously you got one guy who wants to or is saying he wants to do these things, which are just tyrannical. You can't lock everything down again. You can't force me to wear a mask.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, Fauci, which I know Trump has, been like semi against Fauci and saying some things, but he's still the head of the whole COVID task force or whatever. He said recently that we'll be doing social distancing and wearing masks into 2022.
Bill Gates just said we'll be doing this for 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. Oh, it's not ending. I mean, this is all rolling into...
And I the other day I was at work and an ad came on while I was watching YouTube videos, and it was like, with COVID-19, society has changed. And I was like, wait a second. Why? No.
Yeah.
This doesn't you don't just get to claim that that everything's changed now. This is the new norm, and this is how it is over some fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it, and I think that it is a real thing, but it's not dangerous like they claim.
It's not. Yeah, it's just.
There's no reason for all of this hysteria and this bullshit, and it's like they're just trying to already tell people like this is the new normal. This is what it's going to be like for the rest of your lives.
It's the Great Reset. Have you looked into that at all? Mm-hmm. Like that's what they're doing. They're taking this example and we got to change a bunch of things in society because of this, right? But it's really just it's a new world order with a new name, is what it is. It's old.
Trump
this isn't
world
new.
Order.
Man, maybe, yeah.
Listen, a friend of mine has a poker game that he plays about every week, and he's like 38, and he is by far the youngest guy in this poker game. Like there's a couple guys in their like early 60s, but like the oldest dude in it, man, like he looks like he's fucking 90, and like you can't understand him. Like people, like out of respect for him, like he'll tell a joke and you can't hear anything but the cuss words, and everybody will just kind of uncomfortably laugh because like, I don't know what Bartel cock and bit balls like or whatever, and nobody can understand what the hell he's saying. Dude goes into the bathroom to pee completely. I mean, it's like, dude, you didn't even hit the toilet. Like, he's so old.
Yeah.
He'll be eating, like, because he provides food or whatever. He'll be eating, and there's just, I'm not kidding. I know this sounds ridiculous, but there's usually, like your kid has eaten under the table. I mean, he's just an old dude, like, right?
Yeah.
So apparently, like, him and, like, 5 other of these old men that aren't quite that old tested positive for it or whatever, and every one of them was fine. Nobody even said, like, they had any kind of serious symptoms or anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and if anybody, I mean, the dude was 90. Like, I'm pretty convinced that I had it, and I have high blood pressure and, like, I'm not healthy or whatever. And, like, it kind of sucked for, like, 4 days or whatever. I was a little short of breath. I don't know, but it wasn't never like, I need to go to the hospital kind of thing.
Do you think that if you'd never heard about COVID-19 that you would have thought anything more?
Dude, I think I would have thought a little bit more of it, only because I've never had shortness of breath or anything, and I've never had a sickness where I've had that. So I think I would have thought that was a little weird. I mean, it could be a placebo, right?
Exactly, right?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't have shortness of breath, and I was just like, fucking breathe.
Shit. Can't taste anything.
And that's can happen all the time. People have panic attacks, anxiety attacks. You're having shortness of breath, but there's not actually anything wrong with you. Like,
well, see, I wasn't like panicked. It was just like I was like, I would like
get in the back of your mind, like if you felt like this is what I have and these are the symptoms that come along, and then your brain just starts making you feel that.
See, but dude, like I didn't think. I just thought I had like a cold or whatever. It was the shortness of breath that made me initially think I had it. Yeah. And then I like looked up the stuff and I was like, yeah, I have. I never had like couldn't taste anything or that kind of stuff. But my son's jiu-jitsu instructor he tested positive for it, and he has like some type of autoimmune deficiency or something. So he was like, man, he goes, when I test positive, he was like, I thought if anybody's going to struggle with this, it's going to be me because I have this. I guess that's supposed to be another big risk factor for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But he said, like, he only went to get tested because he was doing laundry and he, like, smelled bleach and he couldn't, or he, like, put it up to his nose, sniffed, he couldn't smell bleach. And he was like, so he went and got tested and he was positive, but he was like, I felt kind of crappy for a couple days and he was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
if you get the common cold, your sense of smell goes away.
Yeah, listen, that's what I remember when I was a kid. Like, you get sick, you can't taste anything because you're stopped up or whatever.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And even if there's no like if your nose isn't physically stopped up, it can be like you can use nasal spray.
Yeah, and then you still can't taste anything.
But your nasal passage is inflamed, and it makes it where you can't smell and you can't taste.
Yeah,
and that's just with a common cold. That has happened to me a billion times over my life. You know.
Yeah,
this whole thing is bullshit. Yeah. But we've all known this. This isn't. But
I mean, I get it. Like somebody with asthma or whatever, but that's the same way with anything. The flu can lead to pneumonia, and that's fucked for somebody that has asthma, you know? So, I don't know.
It's being portrayed this way because of all these new things they want to implement. And this was the gateway into it.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, the best way to control people is with fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know.
Like when you're the one that they think is gonna save you, you know, scare the fuck out of them.
And they're spinning this like this is a good opportunity to not only we have to change things because there's a deadly virus, but now that we're started, like we're gonna change all these different things, and it's gonna be good for everyone, right? Like it's gonna be great. We're gonna turn this around, and by 2030, we're gonna have all these different things implemented. But they're all things that take away your freedom.
And conveniently, they're great for big corporations and terrible for, like, I mean, even, like, think about, like, Rendezvous downtown or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so a big part, like, if you ever gone to, like, a Tigers game or a Grizzlies game?
Yeah.
Like, one of the main few things you can eat in there is these Rendezvous, like, barbecue sandwiches, nachos, like, they have that there.
Yeah.
And you got to think, man, with all those Grizzlies games, 40-something of them, Tigers games, like what, whatever the home games are that they do all that, and now nothing because none of that's happening. Like, right. I know they're probably going to be fine because they're a restaurant or whatever. Think about how much income they lost because of that,
It's, man, I mean, it's definitely a bigger agenda here than anything. It's not just, it's worldwide. It's happening. And it sucks because everybody's just buying it. But I don't know. But where do you think Trump falls in on this? Like, do you really think? I'm sure he's a part of the whole fucking plan, man. But
I mean, yeah, I think he's being used. I don't think he's the top guy, but I think that he's just a puppet like the rest of them. He's not he's not the savior that everybody wants him to be. No. That I wanted him to be.
Sure, no, and I agree with you. But do you think it'll be? Like, do you think that they're, like, honestly, they want him to be the president? Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like it would be easier for them to continue their plan if Biden was, though. You don't think so?
No.
Why?
Because the majority of the country thinks more like Trump, and they'll do what he fucking says.
I see that point, but, like, he's not saying you have to take the vaccine.
Not
he's
right
not
now,
saying
because he's not president yet. He hasn't won that second term yet.
I do, yeah. I mean, I see what both of you are saying, and
he'll
I've argued
ease
the same
his way
thing.
into it like he has with every other thing before. He was totally pro Second Amendment and then started restricting things on guns. He, I can't think of any other examples, but I remember other examples of things that he said that he was, and then went back on and was essentially did what the Democrats would have done.
I don't think he built any of that wall.
Yeah.
I think that's what initially made Matt Drudge pissed at him and Ann Coulter and those people.
Yeah. Like,
that backed him, because I don't think he built any of it.
There's maybe, I think, like, I don't know, 100 miles or something, or less, they put up, but it's like not even, it's a speck of the distance. I don't know the
Is
actual
it still
distance of the border, but
in the process, like, are they still going to move forward with it, or
that was like a year or more ago when they put that little bit up.
Right, but when people go and build a new fucking highway, it takes them 20 years. They just don't do. The government doesn't do anything fast.
Yeah, but his whole thing is we're gonna get this done. I'm putting up this wall. We're gonna do it fast. We're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say
understand what
that
you're
he
saying.
has done well, it seems like, is like he seems to be pulling us out of the Middle East and like calming things down there. Like he doesn't seem to be pro-war.
I mean, he attacked and killed one of Iran's generals.
When? I mean, I didn't hear about that. Maybe
You
he did.
didn't hear about that?
Is it recently?
It was like probably 6 months ago or more. The guy was in, I'm going to get this part of the country wrong. He was in Afghanistan or Iraq, but he was an Iranian general, Soleimani or something like that was his name. And the U.S. government claimed they had intel that he was there plotting a terrorist attack against U.S. forces over there or something. And so while he was driving in his caravan, they dropped a missile on him and killed him. And Iran was like, fuck you, we're going to war, essentially. And it's been a thing ever since. They're still dealing with it. There's been stuff back and forth with Iran. Like, the tensions with Iran are hot right now.
No, I didn't know
And
that.
Trump okayed the strike, and he backed it 100%, and was like, and the guy was a bad guy. Iran is not, their government is kind of a terrorist organization. But he's not, he's the warmonger just like the rest of them. Like, he's gonna, he said he was gonna pull troops out, and he never did. Then I think he pulled some out, and then he sent more back in, and like, it's just, he really didn't do shit about stopping all of that.
Has he been doing like all
He's been backing Israel to the point where it's causing more and more strife with the whole Israel-Palestine thing.
Really? Like,
Yeah, he built
because
an
all I
embassy
keep-
there,
oh,
and it
well,
was
I saw
a
that.
huge ordeal.
But all like I keep seeing is like these countries normalizing relationships with Israel that would never do it. Like, and that's happened like 4 or 5 times. He's up
But
for like
Israel-
a Nobel Peace Prize for it. Now I don't know about Palestine or whatever.
This has nothing to do with Trump, though. That's all Israel.
Why?
Bec-
Why are they giving him credit for it?
Israel has the top intelligence agency in the world. They have more dirt on every country than anyone else in the world.
Okay.
Like, Mossad is, the number one intelligence agency in the world. So they can repair any bridge they want at any time with anybody. They don't want to repair the bridge with Palestine. They want to get rid of Palestine and become Israel. The government there, not all the people, the government. They've claimed that's their stance. They're still taking people out of their homes and setting up Jewish settlements. And Trump backs it 100%. And a lot of it is actually against international law.
But is it because of blackmail of some sort? Not on Trump, but on our nation.
Most likely. I mean,
Right.
I think that's why we've been backing Israel for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my question, though. Like, the president has always been, a temporary employee of the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so these guys get in there. Maybe they have good intentions. Maybe they don't. But you can't just go rock a boat that's 200 years in the making of how things are. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to let you.
That's what he said he was going to do.
But it's not possible.
Then
The only way we rock the
then he
boat is
shouldn't
if we
have said that.
dismantle the government completely.
Exactly.
So,
That's why.
yeah, I mean, I'm with
he's
you. Like,
not-
it's all garbage. It's why I didn't
not-
vote.
yeah.
But it's. I just don't know. Like, I don't know if he's like a bad guy or if he just can't get anything done. And then, yes, he has had ties with, I don't know.
I think he's a bad guy. I think
He's in the pockets of the bankers for
I think
sure.
that he's
and always has
got-
been. But
that someone has blackmail on him for some heinous shit, and he's in someone's pocket to an extent.
I'm sure.
Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama and Disenchantment, right?
Yeah.
He was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. There's proof of it. He was getting a foot massage by like a 14-year-old girl, and she was being forced to do it. He's a fucking creep, right?
Sure.
He predicted this whole Trump thing in a Simpsons episode years and years ago. I think Matt Groening is in the inner circle of one of the inner circles and knows a lot of things. He predicted the Higgs boson weight of the Higgs boson particle in an episode of The Simpsons. He has predicted so many things, and I don't think they were predictions. I think it was that they already knew these things.
Yeah, of course. There's not. You can't predict that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you either know or you don't.
Yeah,
know.
And so it's like, to me, Trump being the president in 2016 has been in the works for a very long time. And the blackmail they have on him is from 93.
Yeah.
So they've just been waiting till they are ready to use him.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's happening.
I can see that. It makes sense, right?
And, we all know that the government loves to show their dark little secrets through media and Hollywood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They give you little bits of the truth disguised as sci-fi or fiction or
Sure.
this or that. And then it turns out, oh, wait, some of this shit is real.
Right.
Like they love doing that. And so I think Matt Groening especially loves it.
Yeah.
He's very intelligent, very incredible writer. And, and I've talked to you about this. His most recent show Disenchantment, is full of pedophilic symbols.
Yeah, everywhere.
The church in Dreamland, their symbol is a spiral.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It's not a cross, it's a spiral.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
No, I definitely think that you're onto something there. I don't know. I think, though, that it doesn't... I don't know. It's either completely all rigged and the votes don't matter at all, or they make it where it doesn't matter who you vote for. They're in our pocket. Our plan will still move forward regardless of who gets in there. And...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those two.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I thought maybe your vote counted when Trump won the first time, but I mean, the country has been more divided in the last 4 years than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like,
now we've got a fake
shit that's going on right
pandemic.
Now is
you know what I'm saying? Under his administration,
yeah.
It's
you got the left had this whole got riled up over some real horrible tragedies that they should have been riled up over, some that were justified that they still got riled up over.
Most of them were justified.
I haven't looked into all the cases, but a lot of times they are justified, and they still they get riled up, but they don't just protest. They're out there rioting. They're doing this stuff in Seattle and Portland where they're taking over whole city blocks. You got Trump sending in National Guard, snatching people up who aren't really doing anything violent in unmarked cars, throwing them into vans and hauling them away with no proof of any crime committed. And so then you've got people, it's just they're working both sides to get people pissed off about it.
I don't think you're right about that.
I saw the videos of it.
Well, I know, but all that crap's edited and
But I mean, there was a guy who got arrested, and they questioned him, and he answered all their questions and had done nothing wrong, and they held him for 3 hours and then let him go.
Yeah, but that's how that works.
No, it's not. You can't just snatch somebody up off the street without suspecting them of committing a crime.
They suspected him of it.
What crime? He was standing there.
I don't know, but they thought he was involved in one of these riots.
You have to. It's not. You have to have probable cause of a crime being committed.
You don't though. Like if a cop says that he sees me vandalizing something, they can detain me and then question me.
That's because he's seen you committing a crime.
Well, I think that's what they were saying. Is somebody said that they saw, like, some law enforcement officer says they saw that guy involved in one of these riots, and then
But
they
he
questioned
wasn't.
him.
That's the thing.
Well,
The
that's
guy
why they let him
wasn't.
go after 3 hours.
But that's an illegal detainment because he never committed a crime, and he wasn't suspected of any crime because you can't suspect him of committing a crime if you don't have any type of evidence or proof that he did.
But are you sure that they don't?
Yes, because I've watched a ton of videos by James Freeman who educates cops on this all the time and ends up walking away after they try to say, because people will call in, there's a suspicious person with a camera, and the cops come out and try to tell him, we're detaining you because you're a suspicious person, we're trying to figure that out, and he says, you can't do that. I'm not when they say you're a suspicious person, he says, is that a misdemeanor or a felony? It's not a crime to be a suspicious person.
Well, I understand that.
And so unless they have some type of proof or probable cause that you've committed a crime, then they can't detain you.
But they never have proof, though. Like, a cop is never going to have proof when they detain you that you've committed the crime.
If someone calls and says, I just saw someone shooting a gun in the streets and they fit this description, then they can come and detain you.
Yeah.
Like, if there was an eyewitness describing a crime in action, then they have every right to detain you immediately.
How do we know that didn't happen?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because
I know the left is saying
because
that.
they let him go. He didn't commit a crime.
But it happens all the time.
So how could anyone have seen him commit a crime?
Because it could have just been a misidentification, right? Like he could have had a
but that's
black
the whole
hoodie on,
problem.
so did the guy that they saw.
That's the whole problem with this is that they didn't stand there and say they didn't stand there on the street and work it out. They snatched him up, carried him away, threw him in a van.
I agree, that's wrong.
Took him off to a police station.
I think we all
held
agree
him there for multiple hours, questioning him. And he was a completely innocent man.
But my point is, they do that all the time. Like, all cops do that all the time. Like, if they think, like you said, if they have an eyewitness, if some cop is like, man, this guy fits the description of some dude that just threw a brick through a window downtown.
Yes, but there are very specific guidelines on when they can actually detain someone without them seeing the crime being committed. They have to have a description of a person from the witness seeing the crime. Like if someone who's matches my description commits a crime and someone calls in and I'm walking down the street and I didn't commit the crime but I look just like the guy that did, and the cops pull up on me and say, hey, you match the description of a break-in at whatever, I have to do whatever they say. I have to answer their questions and do what they say because I match the description of a crime that's been committed. That's the law, right? But if there's no actual crime that's been witnessed by anyone, then
I agree with you. But how do we know that somebody didn't call?
Yeah,
and
because
he fit the description of the crime, and it just was a misunderstanding.
Because to me,
someone might have, but like that's why I have a problem with the police in general.
Well, I agree with you.
You know, we both be able to take because I could call and say, "Hey, I just saw my neighbor committing a crime," when they didn't, and then they go and they arrest him for it. They're taking my word over theirs.
We all agree about this, but I just don't think that this. To me, when I saw this come out, it was just. It seemed like some hysterical leftist. They're snatching people. They're snatching them, and like it was just.
But I mean,
they weren't acting any different than other cops do.
No, but it was the fact they were, because cops don't detain people that way. They detain you on scene, and they ask you questions, and then they determine if you're under arrest or not.
You're telling me they don't ever take you down, detain you, take you to a station?
No. Like, typically you're not... That might happen from time to time, but a uniformed officer's not going to take you to the police station while you're being detained.
He would be under arrest.
You would be under arrest.
Man, see, but that's not... I've watched
they never told that man
like, they did
that he was under arrest.
They did that with Josh, though. Like, whenever we went through...
But cops do shit that's against the law all the time.
Well, I know, but that's my point. Like, I don't think... What happened with me and Josh when he rolled through that sobriety checkpoint and he was sober, but they still... Like, have I told you that story before?
I think so, but I don't, fully
Anyway,
remember.
we were... going through his hometown or whatever, and we see this sobriety checkpoint, and he's like, I've been waiting for this shit for my whole life. And he was like, ride with me through this thing. And I was like, Josh, I'm not trying to get into it, but I'll ride with you or whatever. Yeah. So he gets in. He purposefully doesn't bring any identification with him. He goes through, like, we go through it. They're like, a license, whatever they do. Have you been drinking tonight? And he was like, starts, am I being detained? And they're like, well, no, just we need your license. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? And then they finally, and this was shady, one of the cops was like, pull up there. Or he might even said pull through. He indicated drive that way. So Josh starts driving, and like I'm looking in the mirror, and like they freak the fuck out. Yeah. Like guns out, running after us or whatever. I was like, Josh, you need to stop.
Typically, like when you start saying stuff like that, like, and they say pull up there, they want you to pull off to the side because they're about to take you out and search your whole fucking car.
Well, yeah, so they pulled whatever they told him to do, and maybe the guy didn't say. I was under the impression he was just like, get through here or whatever. So anyway, stops, throws it in park. I mean, they yank him out of the car, whatever. And they're questioning him outside the car, and they're like, tell us who you are, it doesn't seem like you're drunk, whatever. And he was like, no, I can't do that. And then they asked for my stuff. I give it to him, and one of these cops sticks his head in the car. He goes, hey, man, what's your buddy's name? I was like, I can't tell you that. I was like, that's for him. You got my stuff. And so they were like, hey, man, can you pull this over there? And, like, I can hear Josh, like, arguing with him or whatever. And they did not arrest him. They didn't say he was under arrest. They took him over to this, like, mobile station thing they had. And so they were detaining him.
Freedom vans is what James Freeman calls them.
Yeah. Oh, well, this was not just like a van, man.
It was like a camper.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
And like they, as he's walking by, like they got him in handcuffs. So he's walking, and one of these other guys coming back at it, like another cop, and they walk by him and goes, we got ourselves one of those sovereign citizens here. Josh was like, I never said that.
Yeah, and it's like it pisses me off so much when cops call people who are just following the Constitution and defending their freedom, sovereign citizens, because the real sovereign citizens in the country are police officers.
Yeah.
They think that they're above the law. They get away with breaking the law and have no consequences. They are the sovereign citizens. But if you try to go, hey, I have freedoms as an American, they call you a sovereign citizen. Yeah. DUI checkpoints are totally unconstitutional.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah,
But
I've seen a video of that exact thing happening. But the cops actually lied and said they smelled alcohol on the guy's breath. And the guy was doing this intentionally with a video camera. He was not drinking. Yeah. And they put him in handcuffs, took him into the big camper, and then brought him back out and let him go because there was nothing he did that was wrong.
Yeah, and they did essentially that same thing with Josh, except they threatened him. Like, they were like, listen, man, it was like, it's so funny because it does nothing. Like, they were like, you got to at least give us your first name. And he was like, why? And he goes, what happens if I don't? He goes, well, I'm going to have to forcibly take a blood sample to see if you've been drinking or whatever. And then we'll have to wait for the results, and that could take 2 or 3 days. And so he told them, I don't even know if he told them his real first name. I was like, that fucking doesn't do anything. They just want I win. Yeah. I win this, Mm-hmm. But I don't know. But anyway, the point that I was making with that is, like, I don't think that Trump has them doing just crazy things like that. I think that's kind of normal operating procedures for cops. And while it may be immoral, I think that's what they're doing. And, like, I do see some kind of justification in if y'all... And I don't... Like, I've heard people talk about this. I haven't seen the videos. But, like, if they're in the middle of a fucking riot, like, I get why you would take them away.
But the videos that I saw, that's not what it was. It was people walking down the street with signs, not throwing stuff, not doing anything. And a minivan rolls up, and 2 soldiers hop out with, like, full helmets, like, camo. They rush up and snatch, like, one guy up and drag him away to the van, throw him in, and drive off.
So what I don't understand is if they do that and then they hold him, I don't understand what the motivation to do that is. I mean, because even here where we are, I mean, they had that BLM thing. Like, what's the point in just grabbing a random dude and doing that to him?
I have no idea.
Like, I would assume there was some type of motivation
Trump
to get that
sent them
guy
in and basically gave them a little bit of extra wiggle room, because I disagree with you. I don't think cops generally do that, and when they do, it's against their procedure. But this was like Trump okayed this type of force. He was like, go in and get these people and get it under control, which I do think it needs to be gotten under control, but you can't just go in and start snatching up innocent people and breaking their constitutional freedoms.
Well, that's even from an outside perspective of it. Like, there had to be a reason that they grabbed that guy. Like, they may have been wrong or right, and like
they may have had bad intel.
They
right?
were trying
possibility.
They were trying to burn down a federal building. Like, they were actively maybe that guy wasn't, but the crowd is.
I know. But like, where those people, I didn't hear about any of those people getting arrested. I'm sure some of them might have, but like, it was, I don't know.
But you wouldn't though.
That shit was
like,
fucked
you wouldn't
up
hear
to
about
me.
those because
there's
nothing for the left to bitch about.
But I follow the Daily Wire and all of those people, and they'll talk about that shit, and I hadn't seen nothing about it. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
But
I don't know.
on to something a little different. I don't know if you've noticed this, but PlayStation had a recent update, and so now if, say, me and you were to get into a party, where we're party chatting, it records everything we say.
No, I didn't know that. I'd been on there forever.
Yeah. It's like someone came in the store and told me about it, and then that night I went home and played with Austin, and as soon as I sent him the invite, it was like discovery, because it was like a new thing, and it was like all of your conversations will be recorded in the party chat.
Can you turn it off?
No.
Dude, what the fuck? Like,
which
where
I
are
assumed
they
they were
keeping
already
all of-
doing that.
Yeah, where are
but,
they keeping all this shit? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I think about. How many people
Actually, Hall knows.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today, and I don't remember where he said, but there's a data bank somewhere that has every bit of information that's ever been put on the internet, and it's all stored there. And nothing goes away. Everything that's ever been out there is on is at this server farm.
Yeah. So every time you search for trannies on the internet,
It's always
It's there, buddy.
there every time. There's a bunch of it.
Caleb's like, I know, I have put a bunch on there.
But yeah, like, but that shit was just weird to me. Like, why do you have to record our conversations?
Yeah, it doesn't. What's the point? Do they even give a reason?
No, but I'm sure that if you say something that they don't like, they might ban your account or send you a message with a warning or something. Is what I'm assuming that this is all about. They're trying to freaking, like, because that was one thing that me and Austin had talked about a while back, is with all this like SJW stuff and political correctness stuff going on, it had started to seep into every aspect of entertainment, but video games were untouched for a while.
Yeah.
And like most of the actual games didn't have shit in them, and then the people that you encounter are like the scum of the earth, but it's like refreshing to hear people just say shit without any fucks. Like they give zero fucks. They just say whatever the hell they want, and it's refreshing to hear people just use that freedom, even if I disagree with what they're saying. And it was like that was untouched, but they're trying to squash that now.
Yeah.
Like they've infiltrated the gaming world, and they're screwing it. Like,
yeah. You know what they can't control? Get you an old TV, Mario Kart 64.
That's
We
right.
can sit in here and say whatever the fuck we want.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't. It's so stupid, and that whole thing where they were like, we need more, women of color as main characters. And
Yeah.
no, dude, you don't, because black women for the most part are not sitting around playing fucking video games, and when these kids are sitting in their basements or wherever they are, us sitting there, like they're not wanting to pretend to be a black woman. Because they're not a black woman.
No.
Now, here's one thing I will say about video game characters, if you have a choice to pick male and female, as a kid and to this day, I've always 100% of the time played as a female. I don't get I've never cared. I always like when they have that option. I think it's dope as hell.
I don't mind the option. I think the option's a good idea.
I love to play as a female, and I've played as blacks. I've played as I've played as Asians. I've played as every kind of color that they could allow, and it's but that's always something that I've just enjoyed doing because the male characters are fucking boring to me, and I'd rather see kind of a hot girl on the screen than some dude that's muscles are out. You know what I mean? If I'm playing an action game,
I think you're in the minority in that though.
Probably yes.
Because it's never even occurred to me. When I've done that, I'm always
when I watch videos and stuff of content creators who are playing games that I'm playing and stuff. The characters they build are always guys, and it's guy content creators most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It's dumb when they're trying to force it because to me, there's enough of it already. There's plenty. Some games are designed to have a specific lead character, and you can't customize it. You can't change it. This is just who it is. Mm-hmm. And that's how you have to play it. But a lot of games that have customized, they have every option, and you can change the face and the dimensions and the look. And it's there's a billion games that already have that. What are they bitching about?
And part of the problem with me is how stupid it is. I don't know. You get these games like Call of Duty when you're pretending like you're some kind of elite fighting force, and they have to throw in there women. It makes me more mad than that. I don't. Yeah, great. Put black dudes, Asian dudes in there, whatever. But it's just indicative of every fucking thing they're doing. I don't know if you saw this or not. I only saw it because some Navy SEAL was bitching about it online. But they've changed the Navy SEAL creeds now to where they're. I don't even know exactly what they are. I assume they're
more gender inclusive.
Well, no, I know that, but I assume what they are. These things are kind of their what they hold to be what they are. Mm-hmm. So they'll say I'm a elite soldier, whatever. But they were always it was male terminologies, brothers, that kind of stuff. And they have changed it to be gender neutral. But there's never been a fucking woman that's a Navy SEAL because they can't get through the training. Because they're not built to get through the training. The only way, and even Tim was telling me that, the Marines, what he was saying, have different, even the Marines, which I don't believe the Marines are anywhere near what you have to do to go through to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
But, they have different physical requirements for women, which is stupid.
I think that's across the military in general.
Yeah.
All the branches
but the Navy
have a
SEALs
lower standard for women.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs haven't been that way. I was reading a book about one of them, and he was talking about, the stuff they go through. It's called Hell Week. It's designed to make you quit.
Yeah.
And they have this rock that's on this island that they do this on, and if you quit, you have to go ring the bell and put your helmet there, and it sits out there, and you quit. And the point is, they want to get everybody out of there that doesn't want it with everything in them. And they're just not the kind of stuff this guy describes they go through. Women are not going to be able to do this. They weren't built to do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way with that stuff in video games. I don't know. You want to act back in what I'm supposed to, in Skyrim times or whatever, that there were these women dominating, this stuff, and it's just not.
I had this, me and Austin got into an argument about Assassin's Creed Odyssey because it was the first Assassin's Creed game where they gave you the option to choose male or female.
Yeah.
And when I first played it, I chose the female because, I said, that's what I always do.
Yeah.
And Austin was I think it's fucking bullshit that this, I'm not playing as no chick warrior. She can't be doing that and this and blah, 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 blah.
It's fantasy, though.
And we'll see, but I tried to tell him, and I was like, bro, to win this argument with you, I'm going to have to spoil a little bit of the storyline. I was like, because you're saying all this, and I slightly agree with you. Back in those times, the men were the warriors. The women were not doing that. It's just they weren't physically... they were dominating in the Olympics. They were actually, completely dominating in the Olympics, but they weren't fighting wars. You know what I mean? But within the game, the character that you are, no matter male or female you pick, you're a demigod.
Yeah.
So it's fine to be a female and a demigod because it means you have essentially godlike powers.
Yeah.
And so like I explained that to him and he kind of was like, yeah. And then once he started playing a little bit, he was like, yeah, you were right. I should have picked her because like the story fits better when you do it like that and everything. And it just, you know, it was.
Yeah. And Skyrim probably was a bad example because it's like wizard and shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you have magic and stuff, it's like.
But Call of Duty is supposed to be real.
Yeah.
Like the guns are down to like, I mean, that's real shit.
Yeah. We laughed about in like season 2 or 3 when they added a new like operator. It's like Alex from the campaign. I don't know if you ever played the campaign, but he like gets blown up in a factory at the end of the campaign. So you think he dies. Well, they like bring him back and like they brought him back in like season 2 or whatever as one of the operators for multiplayer. Yeah. And he like his leg got blown off, so he has like a prosthetic leg, and we were laughing about that like. Once that happens, you don't get to keep fighting. Like those guys don't just get to keep on going into battle, and like he's just running around high speed with his bionic leg, but it's just a regular prosthetic. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah, it's definitely different to me, I guess, with that stuff. Like, I don't know. It's part of the reason. Like, I hated, and I'm sure y'all may disagree with this. I did not like the Fast and Furious movies, right? But I
like all of them, or
no, the first one. I didn't watch like all of them all the way through.
Yeah,
so
I
the first
seen
one
all of them either.
I think was all right.
First one's phenomenal.
But
second one's the best.
Second one's great.
But anyway, they progressively, as I was watching them, and I don't remember this because I was in high school or whatever exactly, but they got stupider, you know, and like just the stuff they were doing. Like I can watch the Marvel movies because I'm already suspending belief that there's a Hulk and that kind of shit.
Yes,
like I'm okay with that. But when we're playing by the rules of this
reality, right?
Yeah, I don't need to see fucking you driving your car on the top of a train and jumping it off down the Grand Canyon, and
it's fucking badass though, boy.
So like there's in one of them, like I think it was one of the last ones I watched, there's a scene where they're like getting chased by some guys in a tank, and the tank is just plowing over cars, killing people left and right, and there's like a girl on the tank that's like Dom's girlfriend or something. It's like I can't remember her name, and then he's like I think Paul Walker's driving the car, and Dom like gets on the hood and like he's like, jump what I do or something like that, and they like jump, and she like jumps in the air and he like catches her out of the air and then lands onto another one of their friends that's driving a car and like lands on it and they get in, and it's like over like there was like a highway that's like a bridge where it's like the overpass thing where it would drop way down and it's a huge gap. And it was just the most ridiculous fucking scene. Like, but
that's the same way. Like, and I don't know. I'm maybe in the minority, but that's why I can't. I don't like the slasher movie stuff because people don't fucking act that stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like I can watch The Ring because we're already into paranormal shit. You know, but when it's like
when it's
this is our world.
Yeah. I get you. I understand.
Reality
women
needs
suck.
To be
That's
reality.
what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it always comes back.
It always
to
boils down to women are garbage.
I don't really know how we got to that from what I was saying, but
that was the initial thing here, is that they are not as good as men at pretty much everything. And society
I don't think I ever said any of that.
Is trying to make us believe that they fucking are.
That I agree with.
And they're not.
That they're capable of doing certain like athletic type things as men, and that's clearly
not true.
Thousands and thousands of years has proved that to be wrong.
Yeah. Like can
settled.
Can they do laundry better than us? Sure.
Of course. They can make babies. I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing. Why are we not just praising them for that?
That's right.
It's fucking gold. Like it's literally.
It's like
why we're all here.
Craziest.
It's the craziest fucking thing.
Could do.
It is. It's better than all the things men can do. Yeah. So just take that and get the fuck off of us. We're better fighters. Just fuck off. All right.
Y'all know about like the one guy that actually broke into the White House, right?
Mm-mm.
This sounds like I'm setting up a joke, but I swear to God, this is a true story. there was a female bodyguard, like, on the door, and he just tackled the bitch straight to the ground and went into the White
Got
House.
in there.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a big old dude is going to just plow over a female.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, now,
Every time.
there are some females out there that are like, you know, like MMA fighters or,
Oh, sure.
you know, wrestlers or whatever that,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be able to plow through.
But
No,
there's
but,
still
like,
some dude who's
that's-
not trained in what they're trained in, and he's gonna still knock that bitch
Yes.
the fuck over.
Perfect
Yes.
example. My wife is bigger than Austin. But if they were to get into a fight, my money's on Austin.
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
All day.
For sure. I don't know.
He's got a
Does
mean
does
jump left hook though.
Does he
I've seen
listen
it.
to this? Because I feel better when we talk shit about people and they actually listen to it.
Nobody listens.
Well, I
He
know
does
no one we don't
sometimes.
know listens to it.
I'll tell him to listen so he can hear the shit we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You suck, Austin.
Man, we gotta do something better with this thing. We gotta make this podcast better.
Yeah.
Listen, I think, and it always comes back to this, right?
Women,
But yeah,
they suck.
yeah. If we could get like video in here, I think what we would do the best is if we could do what we do a lot of times when this is over and we sit there and watch YouTube videos and talk about them. I think that would be more entertaining.
Comment below if you want to see that.
We have no ability to make that happen. Comment below if you want to pay somebody to set that up for us.
Yes.
Because I think that would be good. Like, I was dying laughing when we were watching, I think it was Upchurch for the first time, and you're like, I think he's like a big midget. Like, he looks his proportions.
Yeah, he looks like a dwarf, but like tall.
Yeah.
Like, really tall.
You're not wrong.
I'm not at all. He might be like the oddity, like the tallest midget in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's like actually like 4 feet 9 inches is the like limit. Like if you're taller than that, I think technically you're considered to be not a little person.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Somehow that man has dwarfism,
but he's 6 foot.
yeah. Dude, yeah. Like, I mean, like his face, side view of his big old ass sticking out there.
his
Like,
hips
he's,
are like,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a
We love you, Upchurch.
Yeah. I love great music.
Yeah, man. Weird body though, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, I try, you know. Daniel, you're a good looking cat. Would you trade places with him? I mean, take your wife and all that bullshit out of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like
He would-
you just leave her and all that and trade places with him.
No, I'm saying all that, like, spin that.
Suspend. Yeah.
You would trade the way you look to be the world's
Upchurch.
biggest dwarf.
but be Upchurch.
But be Upchurch, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? Dude's got it going.
Yeah.
I'd rather trade and be Jelly Roll.
I'd probably do that too.
I have some experience with losing a decent amount of weight, so I think I could do some good work with his body.
You could fix him.
Yeah.
You can lose weight, you can't not be a fucking midget.
This is true. It might be a better move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's already got himself a hot ass wife. So
She's alright.
I mean, yeah, I
But-
don't really like the Barbie thing, but
Well, I don't like, it's like, she's one of those women that have had too much, like, facial shit. Like,
she looks like a lot of other people who've done the same surgery.
yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bill Burr had a pretty funny thing about that. Have you heard his, like, stand-up bit about, like, he's like, you know, plastic surgery, he's like, it'll be good one day, but it's like, you know, when they first came out with hair plugs, like, do you really want to, I mean, you see what they look like. They haven't perfected it yet. Like, you look like a big fucking fish.
Yeah.
Just give it 10 years and then get the real shit.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, but she's... And I don't think I would be cool with my wife. I don't know what exactly she does. Like, I don't think she does actual porn. I think it's more like fans only, like
Yeah, and I don't like
nude pictures and maybe
I
her
don't even know if she does
masturbating
that.
or something. She
Like-
for sure does something like that because I followed him on Twitter and like he would promote that. And
I
then
think
she had
has like something, but I think it's more because OnlyFans actually doesn't allow nudity, but like everyone switched to it and started using it.
I don't know
And
if
they've
hers
been
is
cracking
like
down on it. So
I don't
hers might be more mild. Like,
well, I don't know if it's an OnlyFans thing. I was just using that as like a type of thing, but like it was something you had to subscribe to.
yeah,
In fact, I think it was like a pay me a something and you can have access to this private Twitter thing.
yeah.
And I got the idea she was like masturbating or something on there. I don't know. But I wouldn't be cool with that.
I mean, to be Jelly Roll, I'd be fine with it.
I mean, I don't
Jelly
know.
Roll's the man.
I like his music. I just
Like-
don't know that I want to.
I like his music so much though, and it's like I want to be able to create music like that.
You can start practicing.
Yeah.
No one can create music like Jelly Roll. Don't blaspheme the name of Jelly Roll.
Have you heard Johnny and June?
I think I did once, but I haven't been listening to his new stuff that much.
It's so good.
Because the only time I get a chance to listen to music anymore is at work, and I want to like really listen to him.
Yeah.
And I know a customer's gonna walk in while it's playing, and I'm just gonna get irritated.
Yeah.
Like so.
That's one of my favorite songs. Is
Yeah. He's got like a couple of new ones out, doesn't he? I feel
Yeah,
I
he
saw,
does.
Like at least newer ones like that I
Yeah.
haven't heard.
yeah, that one's the best of his newer ones that I sent it. I think that was the one I sent to St. Clair. When
Yeah.
that's so funny. Like I don't know. One of the things that I would pay for most in this life is to have like to be able to watch him and his wife's fights. like I'm not kidding. Like I would pay money for that. Like, cause it's got to be so funny. Like he was saying, he was like, she said, "I know you're not listening to Jelly Roll in there because I was listening to that like a couple of years ago, and you told me to turn that shit off."
Amazing. We should try to get Sabrina to put hidden cameras in their house.
Dude,
and
listen,
see if she's down
he would
with it.
never have to work again.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like, I don't know. He'd have to find some platform to let him be on it because he'd get kicked off everything. But like,
It's true.
who wouldn't watch that?
You could just like we could censor out a lot of the things he says. Like,
Yeah.
bleep it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like no one knows what it says, but it's funny because you know he's just going off on a rant. Like
Yeah.
I love when they do that in the office. Like whenever they would like Michael would say the F word and they would bleep it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just like classic.
Listen, one of the funniest things in the office is when he realized Toby's been counseling him, and he's like, "You son of a gun, you son of a bitch." Yeah.
So
Take two of these. Call me in the morning.
Man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. This was a shitty comeback.
Trump's the devil. Women can't perform as well in the military as men.
Or most things.
I don't. That's not a joke.
I know.
not.
It's
It's like
just
you're
funny.
in the minority here,
It's
buddy.
just funny to me.
And then Upchurch is a midget, a big
Yeah.
one.
But he has great music.
Mhm.
But Jelly Roll's a god.
That's the takeaway from this. How many people, even of the people that listen to us, know what the fuck we're ever talking about?
Oh, God.
Because Jelly Roll and Upchurch in the big swing of things, most people don't know who those people are.
Like, I play Jelly Roll at work sometimes, and I have been surprised by the amount of people who come in and, like, either just while they're looking around start singing along to the song or
Yeah.
be like, "Is that Jelly Roll?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so,
But he's
like,
kind of local here, though.
Yeah, and so he's getting more popular now than he's ever been. So
Yeah.
like people are kind of starting to pick up on some of his stuff. But I don't play Upchurch at work because I never know what song's gonna pop up and how many rebel flags are gonna be in the video. And I'm always just like,
Yeah.
better not play no Holler Boys where he pretty much says the N-word even though he says
He
neighbors.
says neighbors.
But look, if you're just listening to that song, that's not what he says. Like, it's not what it sounds like.
It's hard for me because I wish I had listened to that song without you putting that in my head. But like you said that before I even listened to it, so now it's there.
I should have just been like,
Yeah.
check out this song.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not hear it though. Like, and so that song is like, no, I can't play that song.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah. Well, anybody got anything else?
No, I didn't have much at all today. I feel like I've been really quiet.
No.
Yeah.
We talked a good bit about politics and the election. And
Which I know nothing about.
it's okay. I educated you. So.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Well, shit, we can't know anything about anything. I mean, we got jobs and bills and shit.
Yeah.
Nobody pays us to sit around and read stuff.
Yeah, start sending us money somehow.
Yeah.
Guys.
Then we'll maybe know what we're talking about. Fuck.
All right. Let's end it. I'm hungry.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
I couldn't say it on the recording, but because you put that in, I'm gonna wait.